Welcome to Chapter 8 for Business Math called Loans. This is Lesson 8.6, Determining APR. As always, make sure you're looking through the chapter, pay attention to the lesson, what vocabulary and concepts are they introducing, go through the examples, pay attention not just to how to do it, but why. Why are you making those steps? Why are we multiplying? Why are we subtracting? Why are we adding? Just pay attention to what it is you're doing so that you understand the pieces, especially when we get toward the end of the chapter here. It's important to understand all the pieces earlier because we may have to use them again. Also, when we get down to the algebra problem, if you understand why you're doing what you're doing, then you're going to understand what to do in the algebra problem. Not all the time quickly, but you'll be able to figure it out a little bit better on that one. All right, so let's go ahead and read the summary here. If you know the number of monthly payments you will make and the finance charge per $100 of the amount financed, you can find the annual percentage rate, the APR, of the loan from a table. You can use the APR to compare the relative cost of borrowing money. So again, APR is it's a way for you to look at, how much is it costing you, literally what they said in the last sentence here, how much is it costing you to borrow your money? And it's a quick way to compare very quickly, if you know what the APR is. So they give us our finance charge per $100. And this is just a little bit of an easier way to do this. If you know that you're going to be paying, if it's a 6-month term and you have a 10% interest rate or annual percentage rate, then you're going to pay $2.94 per month for every $100 you borrow. So that's what it means per 100. Doesn't mean you're only borrowing 100, but for every 100 you borrow, you're going to pay $2.94. So it's just kind of a simplified way of calculating this amount. So we have 100 times the finance charge divided by the amount financed. So we have this formula here just to help us know the finance charge per $100. So Ruby Cry obtained an installment loan of $3,800.70 to purchase new furniture. The finance charge is $300.78. Sorry, $378.10. She agreed to repay the loan in 18 monthly payments. What is the annual percentage rate? So we're going to use this up here, and we have our $100 because it's always going to start with 100 times our finance charge, which they told us, divided by the amount financed. 0, 0. So we already have our little equation written out here. So if we divide and then multiply by 100, we will get our, not necessarily our percentage, we'll get the number. So let me kind of show you what I mean there. Because you're not necessarily going to get the percentage by doing this calculation. What you're going to get is the number in here that you match up. So we have 378.10 divided by 3870 equals times 100. So I did the division first and then multiplied just to make it a little easier. Sometimes my computer calculator can be a little finicky. And I've noticed my parentheses don't work quite right on my computer calculator for some reason. So even if I put the parentheses in, sometimes it still doesn't respond the way I would like it to. All right, so we have 9.77. And remember, that's not the answer we're looking for. What that means is I need to go through here and I need to find 9.77. And that'll tell me, so this is, and I should also start, I know it's 18 monthly payments, so it's going to be in the 18 row. So I don't necessarily need to look through every single row here. It should be in the 18-month row. And then I can go up here and go, okay, it's 12%. 12% is what we're looking for, okay? So the actual answer, okay, there, the circle, that I'm going to write on this line here is 12%. You have to do this calculation to find out the amount per 100. So I pay $9.77 for every $100 I borrow. And based on that amount, it must be a 12% loan for 18-month term. So it's kind of a way to kind of go a little backwards to figure out your percentage rate. All right. The next piece here is, okay, so they do make a down payment in this next one. So let's go ahead and read this one. The Gomez family just purchased a $2,574.54 laptop computer. They made a down payment of $574.54. Through the store's installment plan, they agreed to pay $121 per month for the next 18 months. So we need to know what's the amount being financed. And this is going back for a few sections ago. That just means, here's our cash price. And we want to subtract our down payment. They're making a payment here. And that'll tell you what the amount being financed is. Okay, so we just have to subtract those two. What is the finance charge? So that's where we get up here to the same one we did in part one, where we're going to have $100 times the and they want the percentage on this one, I believe. Nope, I'm fibbing too. Sorry, that's the next part. So finance charge. I was reading that wrong. It's not finance charge per 100. This is just the finance charge because they didn't tell us that. Up here, they told us what the finance charge was, right? They flat out just gave it to us. Well, now they're asking us to calculate it. So we know we're making $121 payments, and we also know we're going to be doing that for 18 months. So that tells us how much we're going to be paying, 121 times 18. So we're going to pay $2,178, and I say we, but the Gomez family is going to pay this. So this is the total amount of their loan. We need to subtract their financed amount here. So we need to subtract part A and put part A in here. And that'll tell us the finance charge, how much they're being charged over the whole life of the loan. Now we can go back and do this APR. So we'll have the 100 times the top part here is the finance charge. So, and I don't know if I can actually fit this in there. Let's see. That's supposed to be 100. That looks really, really ugly. Times part B, because that's the finance charge that we just calculated in part B here, right? Divided by the amount being financed, and that's part A. So you have to go back and make sure you finish part B and part A before you get to part C here. Again, this is not going to be the APR. What it means is you're going to go to the 18-month column, and you're going to find that number in the row. And then once you find the number that you get right here, you just go up to that percentage rate. And that's the answer that you'll need for part C. So remember, what you're calculating right now in this formula is the amount you're paying per $100 for an 18-month loan. So you find that amount per $100 in the 18-month row, and then go straight up to find out what the percentage, what your APR is. All right, so let's scooch down here. A couple more problems we'll look at here. All right, Elaine Anderzajewski purchased the car in the ad. She made a down payment of $775. She financed the remainder at $331.16 per month for 24 months. What is her APR? So same thing as number 2, but they're not giving you all the steps. You still have to go through all the same steps. So you need to figure out what is the amount financed because she made a down payment. So you're going to have to subtract the cost of the car. And they give you was and now. Well, she's going to be paying the now, right? So you're going to subtract her amount that she put as a down payment here. And that'll tell you the amount financed. That's one piece we need for the APR calculation. We also need to know what the finance charge was. They don't tell us that. So we're going to take our payments just like we did in part B here, and we're going to multiply by 24 months this time. That'll tell us how much she's going to pay over the entire month of the loan. And then we're going to subtract that part from the first piece we subtracted here from the amount financed. So we need both those pieces. I know I don't have part A, part B to put in these rectangles here, but we kind of had a part A where we found the amount financed a little bit. I know they don't label it part A, but we'll just call it part A. And then part B, we're finding the finance charge. So we're multiplying our monthly payment by 24 to figure out how much we're going to pay over the entire month of loan. And then that's what comes here. That's that first box. We're going to subtract the kind of pretend part A that I'm calling here, the amount financed. So that will tell you her finance charge. Now we have the two pieces. We can plug it into that formula in the top. It's 100 times the finance charge divided by the amount financed. Again, that's not the APR. That tells you how much you're paying per $100 for a 24-month loan. So now we're going to go to the 24-month column, and we're going to find that answer in here. Once we find the answer, we just shoot up to the top, and it gives us our percentage. All right, so same steps. They're just not breaking them down for you. All right, let's look at the algebra here. So it says use the APR formula to find the APR to the nearest hundredth of a percent on a $5,000 installment loan with payments of $226 per month for 24 months. All right, I'm going to erase this bit so I have more room down here. All right, so the APR formula, which they don't provide for us here, but it is in your textbook. So if you go to page 323, that's where you can find the APR. So 323 for the APR formula here. So this is on page 323. And they go through and they explain all these pieces. So we have, and I'm going to kind of write it out here. We have MF times 95N plus 9 divided by 12N times 1 plus N times 4A plus F. All right, lots of pieces here. So M, we need to know what all of these stand for. So M stands for months in a year, basically, is what that stands for. So M is going to be 12. In some of the other cases, we might break it down more and not do months. We might do days or something along those lines. But in this case, we're doing months in a year. So M is going to be 12. F is going to be the finance charge. Finance charge. I can spell finance charge. All right. N is the number of payments. And I'm skipping the word scheduled just to kind of save room on this paper, but it's the number of scheduled payments. So she agreed to pay 24 months. There's 24 payments scheduled. So that's a big deal there. And then A is amount financed. Fine. I forgot the E. Silly me. That's really ugly. Sorry. There's two words there, just all ran together. I don't know why that all ran together there. All right. So let's go ahead and plug some numbers in here so that you can kind of see what it looks like. So we have APR equals, instead of M, we're going to have, fix this. This is an F. 12 times finance charge. So in this case, we already are a little bit at a standstill. We need to find our finance charge. They didn't give us that. So we have 226 times 24. And that will give us what we should pay over the whole loan, because we're paying $226 every month for 24 months. So we're going to be paying $5,424. And then we're going to subtract that from our principal. That way we know what our finance charge is. So our finance charge is $424. So this is kind of a little aside here. Sorry, I'm running out of room. Oop, didn't mean to undo the circle there. All right, so our finance charge is $424. and then we're going to multiply. 95 stays 95. The number of payments in this case is going to be 24. Remember, she's going to make 24 payments. So 24 plus 9. So, and I can even change the color up a little bit here. Let's see. So 95 and 9 are just parts of the equation. Those don't change. All right, and then down here, we're going to divide by 12 times n. N is the number of payments again. 24 times n plus 1 times 4. And this is times A, the amount financed. So she financed 5,000 plus the finance charge of 4,024. So it was plus F here. So again, I'll go through and I'll kind of make these in blue. So 12, 1, and 4. Those are parts of the formula, not things I grabbed from the information we had here. So the only thing I had to actually calculate before filling this equation in was the finance charge. We didn't have that yet, but it's easy to kind of get to. So this one is definitely a more involved looking equation, but just, pay attention to PEMDAS, order of operations. Make sure you're going from left to right and you're paying attention to how you're supposed to be doing it. So parentheses, then exponents if you have any. We don't have any exponents here, so we don't have to worry about that. So first, deal with the parentheses. Simplify all these parentheses first before you start doing anything else. Just get down to one number in there if you can. So, and all of these go down to one number because there's no more variables left over once we plug everything in here. So once you've gone down to one number, then you can do division and multiplication from left to right, across. So first do the whole top part of the fraction here, and then do the bottom part of the fraction. Don't divide quite yet. That's actually a little confusing when you're dividing the whole top by something. So you want to multiply, and then you'll have one piece here, right? Because you've already done this piece because it's parentheses. So you'll multiply 12 times 424 times what you get inside of the parentheses here. I'm not going to do that calculation for you. And then on the bottom, you'll have one number here, one number here, one number here. So remember, you're bringing them all down to one number because you're doing all the calculations inside of each parenthesis. And then you're going to multiply the first one by the second one. What you get there, you're going to multiply by the third number that you have. So when you get to the end of that step, you should only have one number on the top and one number on the bottom. You should be almost all done there. All you have to do is divide the number that you got on the top by the number you got on the bottom. So I know that was kind of a talk through of how to do PEMDAS. And this one, like I said, it's definitely a little bit more involved, but I'm going to let you guys go ahead and try that one out on your own. And I hope it helped. I will see you in chapter 9. All right, bye-bye.